Have you ever sat down to a beautiful plate of grilled fish filled with that delicious aroma of lemon and herbs and thought, this must be great for my health, right? After all, it's fish, and everyone says fish is good for you. And, in fact, it's generally true. Fish tends to be lean, full of protein, and a great source of omega-3s, the good fats that help our hearts and brains, especially as we age. But what if I told you that not all fish is as harmless as it seems, that some of the most common and trusted fish could actually be slowly harming your body? Without you realizing it, they can silently affect your memory, nervous system, and even your heart for years. And believe me, most people over 60 don't even realize this could be happening. Over time, our bodies lose some of their ability to filter toxins. The immune system slows down, and the liver and kidneys don't work as quickly as they used to. All of this makes our bodies more vulnerable to dangerous substances like mercury and other heavy metals. The worst part? These toxins are hidden in fish we consider safe, even those doctors would recommend without hesitation. You might think, but I don't eat fish every day. That's not a problem for me. You might even eat it only occasionally, at a get-together with friends or for that special Friday night dinner. But it's these moments that, added up over the years, can make a difference, especially for those over 60 who need to be more careful about what they eat. I don't want to scare you, but rather provide real information. If you're over 60 or care for someone in that age group, knowing this can be essential to protecting your health in the years to come. Today, I'll show you 6 types of fish that, according to studies, nutritional recommendations, and experts who monitor these risks daily, should be avoided by the elderly. Some of them may be in your fridge right now, others appear frequently in restaurants across the country, and one of them, 4th on the list, is truly surprising. In the end, you'll understand why it's best to stay away from these fish, and what safer and tastier options you can choose instead. Before I continue, I want to extend an invitation. If you're here because you truly care about your health or the well-being of someone you love, leave a comment saying, "I'm here." Then I know this message is reaching those who truly need it. And if you're not yet part of our community, sign up. Every day we share tips that help older adults live longer, stronger, and more informed lives. Ready to get started? Then let's go. The first fish on our list is mackerel. Imagine your grandfather, every Sunday afternoon, on the terrace, the family barbecue master. He flips those thick, juicy mackerel fillets on the grill, proudly saying it's great for your heart and brain. At first glance, it all seems to make sense, right? After all, fish is synonymous with health, especially when it's well prepared. But then, over time, you start to notice something different. Your grandfather seems more tired, forgets simple details, where he left his keys, the name of that old friend. Sometimes his hands shake a little when he eats breakfast. We tend to think this is just the body aging, normal, part of the process. But what if the fish he always considered healthy is actually doing the opposite? The truth is this: mackerel, which he loves so much, contains one of the highest concentrations of mercury among the fish we regularly consume. Mercury is a heavy metal that our bodies eliminate much more easily when we're young. However, as we age, this ability diminishes significantly. And as mercury accumulates, it can impair important functions: memory, coordination, and even the heart. Many people confuse mackerel with king mackerel, but they are different. Atlantic mackerel, which has a similar name, tends to have less mercury and more nutritional benefits. Common mackerel, on the other hand, poses a danger hidden behind its delicious flavor. So, if you have mackerel in the freezer, or it's your favorite fish, it might be time to rethink that choice. I don't mean you need to stop eating fish completely. Far from it. The idea is to be more mindful and make smarter choices. Instead of mackerel, how about trying wild salmon or sardines? These two are known for their high omega-3 content and low mercury content. They're good for the heart and brain, and especially safe for those over 60. Because at this stage of life, every dish we put on the table is more than just flavor. It's truly caring for our bodies. But mercury isn't the only issue we should watch out for. Some fish can silently weaken your immune system, and that's something no one wants, especially when your health needs to be maintained. So, let's move on to the second fish on the list. Fish number 2 is the tile, or tilefish. It may not be well known, but the problem is big. You may have already eaten it without even realizing it. Imagine yourself at a fancy restaurant, ordering that white fish or catch of the day, thinking it's the healthiest option on the menu. But what if that white fish is actually tile, caught in the Gulf of Mexico? Tile mackerel is one of the fish with the highest concentration of mercury, even more than king mackerel. For those over 60, consuming this fish regularly, even in small amounts, can cause mercury to accumulate in the body. And when this happens, neurological problems appear: difficulty balancing, memory loss, tingling sensations, or numbness. In the long term, several studies link this toxicity to significant cognitive decline. And the worst part is that tiles are often sold as a premium product, with a fancy name and a higher price tag. But expensive doesn't always mean healthy. So, next time you're at a restaurant, ask exactly what white fish they're serving. If it's tiles, it's best to politely say no. A good alternative is to opt for cod or haddock, fish with a mild flavor, easy to prepare, and most importantly, much lower mercury levels. Your brain, nervous system, and entire body will thank you for this choice. Now let's move on to fish number 3, the swordfish. It has quite the elegant reputation, doesn't it? It's featured at fancy dinners, wedding receptions, and even luxury cruises. You might have heard your grandfather say, "I'm going to treat myself to some swordfish today." It sounds exotic, tasty, and healthy, but the reality behind this fish is a bit worrying. Swordfish are one of the ocean's largest predators. This means they spend years feeding on smaller fish, accumulating a large amount of mercury in their bodies. When you indulge in a nice steak, you're ingesting this concentrated dose of the heavy metal. And, as we've already mentioned, our aging bodies have much more difficulty eliminating mercury, which can accumulate in the kidneys, nervous system, and brain. The result? It can cause nerve damage, tremors, and even accelerate cognitive decline. A common misconception is that mercury disappears during cooking. Unfortunately, this isn't the case. It remains intact in meat, whether raw, baked, or fried. If you or someone you love enjoys meaty, flavorful fillets, trout, or pollock are a good alternative. They're nutritious fish, much lower in mercury, and pose fewer risks to aging organs. This small change to your diet can make all the difference to your long-term health. Now let's move on to fish number 4, which may come as a surprise to many: bluefin tuna. Tuna is quite popular, found in sushi, grilled fillets, and even in the convenient cans we use every day. But not all tuna is created equal. Bluefin tuna, often used in sushi and fine dishes, is at the top of the food chain, which causes it to accumulate very high levels of mercury. Furthermore, eating raw tuna poses an additional risk for older adults: bacterial and parasitic infections, which can be more dangerous when the immune system is weaker. Many people get confused and think all tuna is the same. But while bluefin tuna is on the list of fish to avoid because of its mercury content, skipjack tuna, the famous light tuna, has much less of the metal. If you like tuna, you can continue eating it, but choose canned light tuna. Limit your intake to 2 servings per week, and, whenever possible, choose cooked tuna instead of raw. This simple choice can prevent many problems in the future. Let's move on to fish number 5, farmed salmon. When we think of salmon, we immediately associate it with a super source of omega-3s, that powerful ally for the heart. But not all salmon is created equal. Wild salmon, the kind that swims freely in the sea, has a very different quality than salmon raised in hatcheries. Imagine an underwater pen packed with thousands of fish, all together. They're fed feed made from inferior ingredients, and because they're so close together, diseases and parasites spread quickly. To control this, these fish are treated with antibiotics, and sometimes even chemical dyes to give their flesh that pretty pink color, because without that it would be gray and unattractive. What's more, farmed salmon can absorb dangerous chemicals like PCBs and dioxins, which are industrial compounds linked to inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and weakened immune systems, just what no one wants, especially in old age. In older people, these accumulated toxins can trigger serious problems, such as heart disease and even worsening arthritis. So, when buying salmon at the supermarket, opt for wild Alaskan salmon. It tends to come from cleaner waters and has a higher natural omega-3 content. It may cost a little more, but think of it as an investment in your well-being from now on. With fish, quality really does make all the difference. Now, let's talk about fish number 6, the imported catfish. For many older people, catfish is that comforting dish, you know? Maybe it's your dad's special weekend meal, or a fond memory of family gatherings. The smell alone transports us back to happy times. But here's a hard truth. If this catfish is imported, it can carry risks that we need to take seriously, especially for those over 60. Imported catfish, usually from Asia, are raised in conditions that are often poorly monitored. This means water quality can be questionable, and antibiotic use is common. In some cases, these fish contain banned substances and even drug-resistant bacteria, a dangerous combination for those with aging immune systems. But don't worry, this doesn't mean you have to eliminate catfish from your diet. If you like catfish, choose fish raised in the United States, where standards are stricter, ensuring cleaner water and fewer antibiotics. And of course, cook catfish thoroughly to significantly reduce the risk of infection. After all, comfort food should be just that, comforting. Why does all this matter? Now that we've discussed these 6 fish, king mackerel, tilefish, swordfish, bluefin tuna, farmed salmon, and imported catfish, it's important to understand the real reason for all this. Each poses specific risks, whether from mercury, bacteria, or questionable farming practices. But beyond the numbers and facts, what really matters is quality of life. Have you ever noticed how your mother forgets things more often? Or that your grandfather tires more quickly throughout the day? It's easy to dismiss it as just age, but sometimes the choices we make, even seemingly simple ones, like which fish to put on our plate, have a bigger impact than we realize. It's painful to see someone we love suffering from constant infections or a slow decline in memory, and the worst part is suspecting that this might be, even if only slightly, linked to diet. This makes everything even more frustrating, because this is an area where we can take action. Small changes make all the difference. The good news is that you don't have to give up fish. Quite the opposite. It can still be one of the best sources of nutrients for your health, as long as you choose wisely. Swapping mackerel for wild salmon, or bluefin tuna for canned light tuna, may seem like a small detail, but over time, these changes will bring real and lasting benefits to your well-being and that of your loved ones. Ultimately, it all comes down to protecting your future, one meal at a time. And it's not just you who needs this information. Your parents, grandparents, or any older family members can benefit greatly from it too. Caring for someone today means understanding that the world has changed a lot since their youth. What was once considered safe a few decades ago may no longer be the best option, mainly due to changes in industrial agriculture, increasing pollution, and supply chains that have become global and more complex. So, I want to extend a simple invitation. Take a look in your refrigerator right now. Consider the fish you have. Did that farmed salmon come from a place with lax regulations? Or is some fish you have known to be high in mercury? Read labels, do some research, and when you can, consider substituting safer, healthier options. You don't have to change everything at once. Not today, not tomorrow. Small, gradual changes to your shopping list are a great start and will make a difference in the long run. Let's quickly recap the 6 fish you should avoid, especially if you're over 60 or care for someone who is. King mackerel, high in mercury and often confused with Atlantic mackerel, which is safer. Tilefish, tie fish, may appear as whitefish or catch of the day, but has very high levels of mercury. Swordfish, a fancy name, but it contains enough mercury to cause harm, and cooking doesn't eliminate the toxin. Bluefin tuna, the star of sushi and fine dishes, but full of mercury and risks of bacteria if consumed raw. Farmed salmon, raised in cramped conditions, using antibiotics and exposed to contaminants such as PCBs and dioxins. Imported catfish, often raised in poorly regulated environments, bringing risks of resistant bacteria and chemical residues. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever eaten any of these fish regularly, unaware of the dangers? Did any of them surprise you? Tell me in the comments. Your stories might help others make more informed choices. If this video helped you, please leave a like so more people can receive this important information. And if you haven't subscribed yet, join our community. Here, every day, we share practical tips for aging well, staying on top of what matters, and living with increasing strength and confidence. Whether it's nutrition, mental health, or simple lifestyle changes that make a big difference, we've got you covered. Remember, taking care of your health in old age goes far beyond doctor's appointments, medications, or surgeries. It's the small everyday choices, like what we put on our plates, that shape our well-being over time. Every meal is a chance to get closer to a healthy, vibrant life. No matter your age or health condition, you can always make a difference. There's always a choice, and it's never too late to start. Even small changes, like choosing wild sardines instead of mackerel, or choosing wild salmon over farmed salmon, add up to a healthier, happier future.